share, subscribe, comment. The story of a boy named Mark who traveled with his father to explore Egypt and tell the details of the trip, and visited the most important tourist attractions. The story of Mark and his father on a trip to explore Egypt. One day, there was a little boy named Mark who lived in a quiet city. Mark loved adventures and getting to know new places. His father worked in the tourism industry, and he decided to take Mark on an exploratory trip to Egypt, a country that holds within it a rich history and famous tourist attractions. The trip started from the airport, where Mark and his father prepared to travel by plane. Dobby was very happy and excited, as Egypt for him was a land of legends and hidden treasures. After hours of flying, they arrived in Cairo, and when they landed at the airport, they were greeted by the hot atmosphere of the city, the voices of the people, and the bright lights of the city. Visiting the pyramids. The first stop on the trip was the Pyramids in Giza. Mark stood in amazement in front of those huge pyramids that were shining in the golden light of the sun. His father said, "These pyramids were built by the pharaohs thousands of years ago, and they are one of the 7 wonders of the world." Mark began taking pictures with his father and enjoyed watching the Sphinx, the large lion statue that guards the pyramids. The Egyptian Museum. After visiting the pyramids, his father took Mark to the Egyptian Museum. The museum was full of ancient artifacts that tell the story of the great pharaonic civilization. Mark stood in front of the statue of Queen Nefertiti, whose charming smile impressed everyone. As for the mummies section, Mark was amazed as he saw the mummified royal mummies of pharaohs such as King Tutankhamun, Fustat, and the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. The next day they decided to visit the city of Fustat, one of the oldest cities in Cairo. The area was full of historical places that reflect the influence of Islam in Egypt. They visited the Mosque of Muhammad Ali, which is located in the citadel of Saladin. The mosque was decorated with the most beautiful Islamic decorations, and Mark felt as if he had been transported back in time to the Middle Ages. Nile River Trip. On the third day, his father took Mark on a felucca, a small boat that sails on the Nile. Mark was delighted as he watched the beautiful scenery, as if the Nile was telling him stories about the civilizations that arose on its banks. The sunset was magnificent, as the golden colors reflected on the calm waters of the river. Luxor and Aswan. The next day they decided to travel to Luxor and Aswan. They started by visiting the Karnak Temple in Luxor, where Dobby was amazed by the huge columns and inscriptions that adorn the walls of the temples. Then they visited the Valley of the Kings, where they enjoyed watching the tombs of the pharaohs buried in the rocks. After that, they took a train to Aswan, where they planted flowers of memories at the famous Abu Simbel Temple, built by Ramses II. Back to Cairo, the trip was unforgettable, and on the last day they returned to Cairo, where they ended their visit at the popular markets. Mark enjoyed shopping in the markets that sell souvenirs such as pottery and jewelry, and took a gift for his mother. Conclusion. After visiting many tourist attractions, Mark and his father returned home with unforgettable memories. In Mark's heart, Egypt was not just an ancient country. It was a living civilization full of secrets and a vibrant history. When asked about the best part of the trip, Mark replied with a smile, "I think the Nile was the most beautiful thing, but every place we visited had its own charm.